Bear with me one moment. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dungeons and Magi. And this is Behind the Curtain, where we discuss the scenes of Dungeons and Magi, characters, sessions, everything that's happened lately. We have had a few weeks off due to the holidays, so there is quite a bit to catch up on. We are finally live on Facebook for the first time. So we want to welcome anybody that joins us from Facebook. You can also catch us on Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, so this is our monthly show where the first Wednesday of every month, we sit down, we shoot the shit, and we take your questions and everything like that. We also want to wish everybody a happy new year. And thank you for joining us for another year. We've got another great year coming. Another year of Dungeons and Magi, another year of Misery's End. And as we're wrapping up throughout the year to begin Campaign 2. So we want to thank everybody. This year we ended up getting, actually, let me try and find the actual stats for it. Give me 1 second. Where is it? My phone's not cooperating. Trying to find our stats that we had for Twitch. Right here. So, for 2022, again, we started streaming partway through 2022. We've had 48 broadcasts. You guys have watched us for 857 hours. You've watched us for 35 days. We have had a highest number of viewers is 15. That's amazing for us just starting out. We have 8 subs, 60 followers, 162,000 channel points, 1.07 thousand chats. We also, one of the greatest things we did is we reached the top 6% of all D&D streamers on Twitch. We are in the top 6%. That is amazing. There are plenty of D&D streamers on Twitch. It is amazing that we hit 6%. So we want to thank everybody for getting us there. We would not be able to get there and do all of that without you guys. So again, thank you for that. All right. So, we have had a lot of stuff happen in the campaign. Most recently, there were a number of things revealed. It was revealed that our favorite Furbolg was killed. Yes, she was not. And it was found out that Arlie's family was all taken and captured and being held by the armies of Zophos. So there's a lot that's going to happen. We did take these last 2 weeks off. We also, before that, we had a TPK in our one-shot, which was amazing. I finally got a TPK. Unfortunately, it had to be in a one-shot. But yes. So it is all Ben's fault. It must be an Edwards thing to get other players killed. Yes, you have. You have. So now the joke's going to be on you. God, the rest of you are going to die. That's weird. I'm turning him up on my end. Hopefully that helps. No? I don't know why I can't hear him. And I can hear him, so they should be able to hear him. Huh. That's weird. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. Yeah, but it shouldn't be an issue if everybody else can be heard. So, oh, I can hear. Triple Dub said he can hear you the tiniest bit. Maybe go into your settings and adjust your microphone volume. Because you're all the way up in me, so adjust your microphone volume. Okay. We apologize, everybody. Usually, Ben can be heard through Pam stuff, and we are also usually streaming through Pam stuff. We are now streaming through mine, so, um, but yes. And this year, we are going to be working on all of our streaming software and all of that. We are getting a stream deck and connecting lights to it and things like that. So we have a lot of stuff planned. Um, but what were everyone's thoughts of Arlie's husband dying? Not at first, y'all didn't. Not when he was doing the slow talk. Oh, go ahead, Ethan. So, um, what? Uh, hold on. See, but I can hear everybody. That's. Oh, you know why? There we go. That might fix it.
Testing, testing.
That might fix it. Can you
Hello?
hear? Can you hear everybody?
Yeah, now I can hear myself.
Hello?
Okay. I apologize, everybody. I haven't been using my.
Hey, Bubba.
Whoa, that's loud. Ben's got a loud mouth. I haven't been using my laptop now that I got a new computer, so all of the stuff is off.
Hey,
Ben,
Bubba Booey.
there you go.
What?
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Technical difficulties. This is why Pam does the streaming. Um,
God, Caleb.
I let her stress about everything.
Yes, thank you for that, by the way. Thank you.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ben, those hoodies just got sent out.
Oh,
I
excellent.
just got the email.
I need to
So,
get information from you about that.
but yeah, so we touched on it a little bit before, but what were everyone's thoughts of the hag dying before being brought back?
I was flabbergasted.
I think that it really showed just how strong the enemy is, and that we've all been seriously underestimating them.
Yeah.
It's a big like boom wow factor. Like, wow, the toughest character that we had on our side is now dead. You know what I mean? Something is capable of killing her.
I know that no NPC, nobody's safe in the D&D campaign, especially the NPCs. But I thought we weren't gonna nothing was gonna happen to the hag. I mean, really.
So this is the thing. Like, the hag is my favorite NPC that I've created. I think she has been spooky enough, but still lovable.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah,
love to hate
Like,
her.
she's
Yeah.
scary, but we know that she's
Fucking
helping us to
Yeah.
an
creepy.
extent, at least.
But-
We're allies.
But
Holy
you-
frickin'
Yeah, and that's why she's my favorite. And I worked hard on creating her and making her. I actually just recently created her in D&D Beyond in her new
Oh.
form.
Mm,
Same thing with Benefactor.
Which I'm very glad we managed to do.
Yes.
I'm very glad that Pam was able to do that. I think it was Pam.
Yes. But yeah,
That
so
was cool.
oh, there is one more thing that we are going to be rolling out. I'm not sure if I'm going to roll it out this season or we're going to wait till next, but I found it on TikTok. Do not take credit for this. But there is something where obviously we've changed the way we do death saving throws. You guys no longer roll death saving throws. I give you that amount of rounds or IRL time. And I think it creates a sense of urgency and makes you guys know, like, hey, we need to get this done. Otherwise, this person's going to be gone forever. But there's going to be another thing that when a person dies, we will then roll a d8 on a 1 to a 2. That soul will be in a plane so far that only the specific raise dead spell can be used. If you're not using raise dead, if you're using anything but raise dead, that soul cannot be reached. On a 3 to a 4, nothing happens. The soul just kind of sits there and waits. On a 5 to a 6, the soul is claimed by whatever being or deity has the most claim to the soul. And you have to convince that deity or that being to give you the soul back if you raise the dead. And then on a 7 or an 8, the body immediately sits up, all health points restored, all hit points, all your spells are restored, everything. But you owe death a favor.
Ooh. I like
so
that.
I have not figured out yet if we're going to roll it out this season or if I'm going to wait till next season to roll it out, but I thought that it was an amazing thing I saw on TikTok. Actually, Pam sent it to me, and she
Death
regrets it
could
now.
be the hag's lover.
Like
a embodied person of death.
I have actually created Death. You guys just have not met Death yet.
Or have we?
Or have you?
Dun dun dun.
Maybe
I'd rather
you have.
not. Thanks. I'd rather not. Thanks.
Why
Willow is
not?
death incarnate.
But yeah, so
Poor picture.
Can you imagine? She just floats up. Hi, I'm here for your soul.
yeah,
What soul?
it's a little pixie.
Yeah.
Death
With
is a
Argos,
pixie.
that's about true.
I
What
was gonna
soul?
say with Argos, that reigns true for more than anybody else.
Yeah. So
6, 7 times.
what are the thoughts of the rest of the group when Argos and Sobek left?
I kind of figured that eventually they would come back to the fold, but it kind of, I don't know, because, like, Safi was upset about it, but she also understood, because she saw where he was coming from, but she was also upset because it's just a name change, basically. You know what I mean? That's why she was a little bit upset, but out of character, I think it was a good play. I don't think it was really like in character choice to make, you know, because if I was tied to somebody like that, I wouldn't want to be tied back to him.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Safi's got the, she's still a little bit spoiled, even though she's gotten past most of her problems. So she's a little bit upset, but she gets it. And I actually have a question for everybody after this.
Anybody else?
I think for me, I knew ahead of time that I was probably going to do this. What kind of I think what took me for a spin, even though I agree, was Sobek going with him. Argos fully anticipated that it probably would go by himself, and the fact that Sobek would be willing to be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'll go with you. I think that was a surprise, but it was a surprise, but a good one in the best way.
Yeah, like a welcome one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it too, because it gives Argos another reason to be tied to the group after everything. Because he's been through a lot. He's like discovered himself like 4 different times, and he's finally, on either his last iteration or almost complete iteration. He's grown a lot as a person, and I think having a friend there with him to help figure it out is really going to help his character, him as a person.
That'll be interesting, not to say the least.
I mean, the reason I mostly did it, one, Sobek was never going to let Argos go out by himself. That's plain given fact. 2, if anyone's going to make Sobek come to terms with being a god, it's Argos.
Yeah, he's had a lot of god connections too.
It's not the god connection. Argos is the closest friend he has out of all the
group. That's true. I think I'd have to say Shafi's probably the closest to Bakira. There's like they don't really speak about it, but like there's like an unspoken like mother-daughter thing going on a little bit.
Oh,
just a little.
What?
Yeah, just a little. If Safi died, Bakira would probably scream like, "My daughter!"
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you were the first friend death that Bakira had. Bakira had to watch you die.
Yeah.
And Safi was kind of still is. She's gone up a couple years, but she was pretty young. She was like fresh adulthood, like barely qualifying for adulthood.
So, Elliot, what is your question?
I'm gonna ask it again once we get to the very end of our season. But how has your character changed in ways that differ from what you thought was going to happen?
So with that, I'm going to go person by person. Ben, how has Belvis changed from where you originally planned for him to go to where he is now?
Honestly, I originally had Belvis being the cocky hotshot type of dude, where he's just gonna try and pull all the. No, I actually feel like Belvis has gotten a little more humbled, a little more like a little grounded. I mean, he became
the benefactor grounded him.
No, Belvis has not given into those, and nor will he ever. Thank you for. I still not forgiving you for you. Like the benefactor's a great character, but what is the obsession with the fish man?
he wanted the one that can change genders at will.
Valid.
Yeah, fish can.
We were talking about
that.
We were talking. Ben and I were talking about that last night. That fish can change genders at will when need be. So technically, Belvis could become female and go back to male if needed be.
I mean, it would make sense if there were just 2 Locatha left. We got to find another Locatha, and you can repopulate your people.
Pretty much, but
either one can change. You could become a mama,
or better
you already
yet,
are a mama, but you could be a second mama.
Yeah, Belvis is that, and that's actually another thing that kind of like humbled Belvis a lot because then he discovered he had a daughter, and Glorax, that's his name. He's Belvis' son, Glorax. So I think.
You're welcome, by the way.
And you're welcome for the daughter.
Yes, didn't expect that. But I think I see now Belvis is trying to be more of like mentor teacher, like so kind of like pass on his skill sets to his children and just kind of like worried about his legacy now. I think that's what Belvis is kind of worrying about now, as opposed to if he didn't have kids, he probably, just like, all right, what's my next kill? Pretty much. Or
so he's no longer concerned about becoming the greatest gladiator in the world. He's now concerned about becoming the greatest father and leaving a legacy behind.
Yeah, I would say that's his priority now, and that legacy is obviously defeating Zophos, because what parent wants to leave a nightmaric apocalyptic hellscape for their children?
Yeah.
I mean, except for the people in the 40K universe. Yeah. I mean.
All right, Chris, when you created Sobek, you had a specific plan for Sobek, because I know what that plan was. And I know how I personally have changed that plan by stuff I've thrown at you. So how has the journey changed the way you've set Sobek?
Originally he, like most of you guys know, he was here on a favor and a whim. I had planned to more keep that, to the point where he would ultimately use the group to try and bring about the white dragons more popular, not caring about the other dragons back then, but more focused on his goal, white dragons, bring them forth, and praising Azazriel, God, may someone smite her.
I tried.
Yeah, everybody tried. It didn't work for you.
To now, he still doesn't want to be a god. His goal has changed from single-minded to broadening straight to all the dragons, want all the dragons, peace, prosperity, as well as in this fate that he's going to eventually have to create. He won't just accept Dragonborns. He'll accept all who want to not only seek protection or sanctuary, he would want to bring about a way to show what he thinks a god should act like, a god to protect the people. Now, that's for later on, of course. Right now, he just wants to protect the self-view, and as of right now, Argots.
See, I really like that, because, he's had a experience with finding out who his goddess really was, so it only makes sense that he'd want to show by example, like, this is what kind of god you should have been to me.
Alright, so I'm going to save Bakira for last, because Bakira's been here the longest. So, Ethan, how has Argos changed from how you created him to how he is now?
You're asking a shapeshifter that?
For one, a lot. Everyone here knows it, but for those of you who don't, Caleb has officially dubbed me as his guinea pig. If he wants me to try something out, he's like, "Hey Ethan, want to run this? Hey Ethan, what about this? Hey Ethan, what about this?" And every single time
for those that are Critical Role fans, he is the Taliesin Jaffe to my Matt Mercer.
That is very true. So how Argos has changed a lot is I went into this campaign with Argos with the full intent of, like, kind of being not like a one-trick pony, but being like he's going
cow.
To be he's a one-trick cow essentially. But yes, but like you'd be the guy that goes in and beats the bad guy up and then takes his friends out to a tavern and they drink and have ale and all that fun stuff. And essentially, I was grooming him to be the character that everybody would miss when he died. Because I knew him being a barbarian, besides a cleric, you're going to want to take out the big guy that's in your face all the time. When I began to think more outside the box, which is coincidentally when Caleb came back around with the Korth idea and turning him into a shifter, I ran with that. Like, I went with doing that for a while. And honestly, I probably would still, if Caleb hadn't had said yes to Korth being able to use the wish spell to switch to go back to Argos fully, I would still be fine and happy with running Korth as a shifter sorcerer, because what it does is it allows me to expand a lot outside the box. But then finally coming back to Argos as a barbarian, I don't think he will be a character. Only to a few will he be a character that will be sorely missed when he's gone. But now I have Argos coming back has reached a point where my full intent is to make those around happy, like my friends happy, and keep them safe. But ultimately, I'm going to be a one-trick cow again. And ultimately, I'm going to destroy all those that are in my way, evil in my way. But he ultimately is he doesn't care so much anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Elliot, how obviously Safi's who you started out with. You went through a few characters. Safi is now here as a barbarian instead of just a straight bard. And obviously Safi's been through some shit, so how has it all changed?
Well, I feel like the big change that I didn't expect was for me to see her as a barbarian. I think that the fact that I played Willow between her and then playing her again, I wanted it to be that when Willow died, she came back, but she lost her spark. Very, and that's kind of why I had Willow explode the way that she did, because that was Safi's spark going out. She's a lot more aggressive than I intended. Like, when I first started everything, I kind of wanted her to be a little bit of a comedic relief that got really serious. She was just a stupid kid, but I was going to have go through a couple things and, get over her childish fantasies of what she perceived the world to be, and have it really kick in that can be quite a shitty place, and that she's going to have to do a lot of messed up stuff to stop it from being as much of a shitty place. And I feel like for the most part, I've kept with that, but she's gotten a lot more aggressive than I ever really saw her being. Something that I will say Safi hasn't even realized yet is having all of the couples and children around her is kind of like she kind of wants to be a mom a little bit. She's thinking about finding somebody to settle down with when this is all over. Like, she's still gonna be a fighter, but she wants to have somebody that she can hold at night. You know what I mean? And she's seeing all these other people that have it. And so I feel like she's kind of back a little bit to being, because she was originally going to be a hopeless romantic a little bit, and she's kind of connecting back to that, but she's changed quite a bit in between.
So does Safi have somebody that she has her eye on?
Not really. She's trying to feel it out a little bit.
What is Safi's orientation?
She's bi.
Okay.
Or I guess more accurately, she'd be pan. She doesn't really care.
Just a connection.
Yeah, just a connection.
Okay, so Van's not here to answer, but I can kind of get I know how I helped my dad create Van. For those that that are just tuning in, that have never watched this before, my father plays Van, the human rogue. He is working, so he's not able to be here. But
human.
Yeah. So I know when we first created him, he was put in here as the threat stopper. If any of you were a threat to the Order of the Raven, he was ordered to kill you, no questions asked. Bakira being the main one, being a werewolf, that was the main thing. Obviously, we know that has all changed. He now sees himself as the protector of all of you and will kill anyone that gets in the way. And Van still has some quirks, some things that I'm not going to reveal, that are little hidden gems and hidden secrets to Van that not even Bakira knows. And I know things have changed with Arlie. Arlie was the legacy. And Pam will correct me if I'm wrong, but Arlie is the legacy. Arlie is looked upon differently, but I think now with the reveal of who the hag truly is, what do you guys think about the hag's reveal that it is Arlie?
I thought it was a huge shock, honestly.
What? I mean, two people don't know in character.
Yes, correct. You and Argos don't know. But I think with that reveal, and then also with Arlie was kind of standoffish and kind of just back a little bit, back in the shadows a little bit. But I think now with her family being kidnapped and all of that, I think she's going to start showing a different side of herself, a side where she takes initiative and kind of becomes a, albeit short term, but a leader of sorts, while the family gets rescued. Jeannie, from the creation of Bakira, you've been here the longest. You've been playing Bakira for over a year now. September we hit our year, so you've been playing for almost a year and a half now. How has Bakira changed?
How hasn't Bakira changed? Should be the question. she's changed a lot. Because, honestly, started out, she was more of a background character. In all honesty, she started out very much a background character.
Especially when Syl was actively there.
Yeah, she was just in the background. Like, she had just left her mercenary group, which turns out to be a group of werewolves.
Was the
that came in later, actually. She didn't start out as a werewolf. She didn't start out as like an order.
That was something we came up with partway through.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So she changed that way because it gave so much to the story.
Yeah, I remember Jeannie already had Bakira built. That was one of the few characters I didn't have to build or help build. But we had sat down, and for those that don't know, that we haven't talked about, in Discord, each of the players have their own channel with me. Places that we can talk solely where nobody else can see, plot lines, stuff like that. Like I'm talking with Ethan about stuff right now, and about secrets. And that's who I usually tell secrets to. But Jeannie, Jeannie had created a good character in Bakira, but I felt that especially when we figured out we wanted to start streaming, and we wanted to make this entertainment, that Bakira, to me, at that point, at the beginning, it was a greatly built character, but Bakira was very flat. As a character arc or anything like that, Bakira was flat. So I just said, hey, why don't we make Bakira a werewolf? Because if you guys remember, at the beginning of the campaign, you guys had come in contact with a guy who contracted lycanthropy. And everybody was like, oh yeah, werewolf, cool. And so I knew that was the fun interest, was who doesn't want to be a werewolf? It's fun. Then I proposed the werewolf, and Jeannie jumped on it. And so we reworked it and made Jeannie we reworked the Blood Hunter and made the Order of the Lycan and ran with it. And I think it gave Bakira a whole lot more depth, gave me a lot to do with the story, in having the clan and all of that. So, but yeah, Bakira's changed quite a bit.
Yeah. Like, again, like when I first made her, she was a background character. Now she has a love interest. Now she's like a pseudo leader, and she's just like and questioning things about herself. It's fine.
We're gonna get a T-shirt designed of Bakira and like a little nice pirate outfit, and be like, "You mean Captain Bakira?"
You'll remember this as the day you almost caught Captain Bakira.
I could always bring back Terillia, the bunny pirate captain.
Yeah. For the one shot.
Yeah. But Bakira's changed a lot. Like, and honestly, she has a lot more changing to go, because there's some shit that needs to be worked out.
So,
have fun with that.
So, Caleb hasn't even touched on Sobek's darker stuff that gave him to feel
in keeping in the same line, what are, even if they're alive, dead, whatever, we haven't seen them in a while, what are some NPCs that you guys started out absolutely hating that you fell in love with, or vice versa?
That I hate?
that you either hated at the beginning and now you love them as an NPC. Like, I'm not saying in person. Like, your character doesn't love them. I'm saying you as a person, you love the NPC. Or an NPC that you started out that you absolutely love the NPC, now you fucking hate them.
Honestly, I don't think that there's an NPC that I hate that we have yet to come back to. Because of story reasons. I hate him. I hate him. Dorian.
Oh, that guy. Sure,
That guy!
I remember that guy.
Yeah. I hate him. But as for actually hating any NPCs that our characters deal with on a regular basis, none really.
I mean, they're NPCs. They're not, unless you read.
Like, I was suspicious of the hag as a person, but as the story went on, I fell in love with the hag.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't like the hag at first because it's a hag, and then you fall in love. So are there any other NPCs that were like that, or the opposite? You love them, and then they did something to make you hate them. And I'm not saying as a character, but as a person, as the player.
As a character and a person, Azazel.
Who?
His goddess.
Oh,
The
yeah.
one that froze you?
I remember that. I don't think I hate even as much as the benefactor somewhat annoys me. I don't hate the benefactor. I think it's a funny character. I don't know. I don't have much of an opinion. Like, me personally, it's like it's an NPC.
I mean,
know?
I created a benefactor just to freak Ben out, just to mess with Ben. Like, so So I didn't create the benefactor for that. I had a plan for the benefactor. The benefactor was always going to exist. But he wasn't going to be gay, and he wasn't going to go for any of you. And then just, I don't know, there was something that I was like, you know what, this would be funny. So I was like, all right, he's going to be gay, and he's going to love Belvis. And you guys loved it. You guys loved it.
Before the campaign's over.
I mean,
I want to find the benefactor boyfriend before the campaign's over.
I will put money on it right now that Ben and that Belvis and the benefactor will be married by the end of the campaign.
That's not happening.
And you have a god to hold the marriage.
Ethan, we'll do a whole like Dalen's Closet kind of thing for the benefactor and Belvis.
So, speaking of which, I think I mentioned this to Caleb. I either mentioned this to Caleb or Pam. When Sobek became a god, I actually had an idea to make Belvis your paladin. Like, I was going to be like, wouldn't that be funny if Belvis became Sobek's follower?
I mean, it would make sense.
Because Caleb ended up making Belvis the champion of the Raven.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, what if I was the champion of Sobek? All hail his name.
Well, there.
I thought for comedic purposes, Belvis would just be going around, hey yay, all gather to worship the great and honorable Sobek. Long may he live.
I think I'll enjoy my current champion better.
Anybody else? NPCs?
I have a question for you, DM, after all this.
Because most of the thing that just like with your NPCs, you craft them so well. Like some of them are just almost hard to hate. The only one that comes close to hating, but it's like almost in a good way, is the hag. Like I don't hate the hag as like being like this like awful person. I'm just more of like oh, we got beat by her, like kind of in a like, ooh, now I'm like determined to like surpass her kind of type thing. But like again, like as an NPC, it's like she's so bad, she's like probably the best NPC of the campaign. Like I don't know, it's a weird kind of like a love-hate relationship. Like, I love the hag to start off with, and I still like the hag, but like that fight right in the middle, which granted, like, I knew we weren't gonna win, but at the same time, like, that would have been the only time where I would have been like, ooh, I can't wait to take you down a notch. But like, but again, it was one that was needed to be done type of thing. But ultimately, I think for me, it's not like I like the hag and like hate her now. It's more like I like the hag now. I like the hag then, and I love the hag now type of thing. Like the care, like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it's going from a like hate to a like love type thing.
Okay. Anybody else?
No.
No?
I used to hate Ellen when he talks slow.
Yeah, actually. But now we have to be nice.
It was like a love to hate him thing, though.
Well, you don't have to be nice to him because he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead as fuck.
I'm gonna just have his ghost haunt Ben.
R.I.P.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
Boo,
I know.
I am right behind you.
Too bad.
And the fact that he would know that it's annoying him and be doing it on purpose.
Too bad we couldn't have Sobek or Arlie resurrect Elolin and then turn him into a cleric and then have him perform the ceremony between Ben and the benefactor. Between Belvis and the benefactor.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together today. And love. True love. Okay.
All right, Caleb, I got a question for you. For each of our characters, what would you like, as you've seen them start and come to as they are, what would you like to see them more as?
Like, how would I like
what
to
would
see
you
them
like to see
progress?
How would you like to features that they have not touched or about that we have not dealt with, even RP or combat wise? What would you like to see more of?
So without ruining and giving away some story stuff that I know is able to be there that you guys haven't touched on, Belvis, I want to see more of Belvis's paladin side. Paladin's pretty new to Belvis. And we haven't really touched on because a paladin gets their power from a god, one of the gods. And Belvis's obviously comes from Syl, from the Raven King. So I would love to see Belvis tap into more of that power. For Sobek, I would like to see Sobek tap into his own power. I think Sobek doesn't want to be a god so bad that he is either unwilling or too scared to tap into his own power, or both.
Right now, it'd be too scared.
I think if Sobek taps into his power, he's gonna find that he can do some special things that nobody else can do. And I'll leave it at that. I would say for Safi, to be honest, I want Safi to tap into their softer side. So at the beginning, we had Safi as a quote unquote soft character. Now Safi has had so much shit go on that they are now this hardened character. I think we saw a little bit of it where with the death of Safi's parents, Safi seeing her parents dead, and a few other things. We've seen some of the softer side, but I think if we, instead of Safi more recently has been a heavy barbarian, where if we can see a little more bard and get more of that barbarian, where we get the nice balance of the soft side of Safi and the anger side of Safi when need be, I think Safi would be a completely different dynamic character. For Bakura, I want to see Bakura. Bakura does not tap into the powers of the tattoos all that much. She has the power of one of the orbs, obviously Van having the other orb. You guys also have not tapped into those powers or seen what they do together or separate. But there's a lot to get into when you come to this orb and these tattoos and things like that. So I think if Bakura starts venturing more into those tattoos, Bakura is going to find some different things that can happen. For Argaz, I actually want to see more of the rebellious side of Argaz. We've seen Argaz is of course the typical dumb barbarian. I play the dumb barbarian as Maresh. I think though my intelligence is higher. But
Argaz is a 6 for
yeah,
intelligence.
mine's like an 11. But I think we are now, especially with what just happened, I think we're now getting into, instead of the follower Argaz just doing what he's told and all of that, we're starting to see Argaz break out on his own, starting to rebel a little bit, and kind of his quote-unquote fall from grace. And we're going to start seeing if we venture into that more, we'll start seeing a different Argaz, which I think will be pretty interesting. For Arlie, I want Arlie to tap into her dark side. We really haven't seen Arlie tap into the dark side all that much. Arlie's kind of held it back. Obviously, Arlie has something inside of her. We all saw a little bit of it during the resurrection. But I want Arlie to tap more into that darkness, and whether the darkness takes over or she uses the darkness, it lies in the dice. But I think tapping into that darkness would be a nice little arc for Arlie. Arlie really hasn't. Pam's other characters have had a little bit of an arc, but Arlie hasn't really had theirs. And then for Van, I want Van to kind of revert back a little bit. Van has gotten on the softer side, with no longer needing to be an assassin for all of you. And I think with that, Van's kind of, his personality has changed a little bit. I think we saw a hint of it when he yelled, I believe it was Korth that he yelled at when you guys were imprisoned. We saw a little bit of it, but I want to see more of the darkness of Van as well, kind of revert back a little bit to being the Keeper of the Feather and the dagger of the Raven. But yeah, I think if we touch on those different areas with each character, we may start to see more character growth. Different things could happen. and we could see a complete change of Misery's End.
Hmm.
Ben, you had PM'd me that you had a question. What was it?
No, what I was talking to you about was what was.
Oh, okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
I've got one for actually just the group as a whole. I had asked you guys at the beginning of the year what was like the most memorable moment of last year of playing the campaign leading up to this point. However, I would like to ask the question, but slightly different. Which memory from the last year of playing D&D together has stuck with you the most? It doesn't have to be related to a particular, like, your character. It can be any character, but like, what memory of the last year playing D&D together has stuck with you the most?
So, from the beginning of this year, okay.
Well,
oh god.
Technically that was 4 days ago, but.
This was before we broadcast, I think. When we invented mozzarella sticks. That always sticks with me.
We haven't seen much of that lately.
You're in a different part of the world now.
Yeah, plus the characters that helped develop that little funny thing, they're all dead except for one.
Except for one.
I mean, NPC, but Harbor Freight character.
That NPC
Tavern.
loved Bakira. That old man wanted the fist of the dragon.
I thought that was funny. Caleb, did you really just not understand me, or did you understand me, but you just started to play
I
along
understood
with
you. The NPC didn't understand you.
Yeah, okay. I always
He's
wondered,
old.
it's like, yeah, I always wondered, it's
And
like,
it just-
did he
it
just
just-
not understand me? I thought I was speaking pretty clearly. That always stuck out with me. That, and also, again, sorry, this is memories that maybe not all the audience knows, but also when we stole the breaded cheese.
Yeah.
Breaded cheese.
I don't think they did. They do not know about that.
No.
I
So-
mentioned it, but they didn't see
Yeah.
it.
Everything you learned.
So, to clarify with everybody, before we started streaming, we obviously started this just being for fun. Like on Sundays, we did this, and Bakira was the original character from that time. But I had an Aarakocra druid named Salik, the hero of the whole group. I know. May he burn in hell. I hate that character. Some people look nostalgically on their first character. I do not. I'm glad. Just God.
Bird person.
Yeah, bird person. But the character had just ordered bread and cheese from a tavern. We were still really, I guess that was actually that was like one of our first like single digit number of sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Like that wasn't like even.
I think that was like session 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep,
like we were still
everything
trying
went
to.
shit.
Yeah, we were still trying to like feel like how do we do this D&D thing.
Oops.
And so I just ordered bread and cheese. And
Bread
Caleb
and
said,
cheese.
Yeah, bread and cheese. And he's like, bread and
See,
cheese.
does
and
it not sound like he's saying bread and cheese
It
still?
does sound like he's saying bread and cheese.
I'm from the north.
Does
We
sound like he's saying
mesh
bread.
our words together. And then was it the same session when we stole the ship?
Yeah.
Or is that something?
No,
Yes, it
no, it was.
was.
I
It was the
think.
same session.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Oh no,
because
it
you guys
was.
were at the docks. You were at the bar in the
Yeah.
docks.
Weren't we supposed to just steal
And
something
that,
from the
and that,
ship?
You were supposed to
Yeah,
steal
and
the
then we
orb.
got caught.
You were supposed to
And then
steal
we
the
got caught.
orb.
She got her off of the and she got the orb off of the ship.
We were stealing the orb for the benefactor, and then we took the
you were
ship.
supposed to steal the orb for the benefactor, and then Bakura touched the orb. It absorbed into her, and then the owners came on, and you were like, "What the fuck do we do?" And instead of hiding, you decided to kill everybody and take the ship and run.
Because there was like a big army outside. I remember, like they had like.
And that's how we.
We were thieves.
We panicked.
That's how we
We
derailed
absolutely
the GM's plans a little bit.
I panicked too, like when Salik tried to.
Did we ever take care of the fact that we're wanted?
No.
I don't remember.
No.
No.
Like Caleb said, we're on a different part of the planet, so I don't think the wanted posters have quite made it this far. So I think we're
See,
good.
the problem is that Safi is going to want to go back to Talamar. That's where she grew up.
You know what's funny is like half of you guys are gonna get in trouble, but I think on the outside looking in, I think like Sobek and Argos.
No, the only people that are there is Safi and Bakura. That's it.
I was gonna say, I think like, oh man, that's
the only one that wants to go back is the one that can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, also when Salik tried to murder the shopkeeper and Caleb's frantically figuring out how to like combat me. Yeah,
and I did because I made a warlock.
Yeah. I think you should have just let me kill the shopkeeper, but that's just me.
I think you should have been stupid.
Right?
No.
I mean, my character just went in, saw this, go, nope, I'm done.
That's right. You literally walked in and you're like, nah.
All right. Who else?
I like the one memory, and it does pertain to my second character that it's always hard for me to forget about, but I still hate Caleb for it. It's the choice that Rohan had to make. Because he had to either choose to continue going with the strengths and possibly have an enemy to the back and an enemy to the front, or stay there knowing that he will die. He will possibly die, but make sure the rest go on. And hopefully find some redemption in his past.
And Safi, or I forget who you were at the point, I think you were Safi, threw a Bardic. No, you couldn't have been Safi because Safi was dead.
No, it was Willow.
You were Willow, through a...
Yes, it was Willow. And then I stopped feeling the Bardic.
And then you lost the connection to the Bardic. Assuming that Rohan's dead.
Which we still don't know.
You don't? You thought you found out, and it turns out it was a...
Shapeshifter.
Yeah.
A shapeshifter on the most wanted list of a god.
We run into those a lot.
Who else?
See, mine was really cool.
There is a lot. Like, it's gotten to the point that Bakura has become so, like, she's just going through the motion. She really is. As a character, she is just like, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking the world's gonna end anyway, what the fuck ever.
She's desensitized.
Yeah, she really has become desensitized to everything because there's been so much shit that happened. Like, she's lost the entire fucking party.
She needs a shock to wake her up.
Oh god, that's
when you find the lightning dragons.
Fun.
You know what I could do? I could shift. I could go back to Korth, shift, like Korth as a shifter, shift into Dorian.
Oh no! We do not need that. She will kill him.
We do not need that again.
You know,
and there goes Ethan.
You know, there's something else we have never touched on with Bakura as well.
Oh.
And that's Bakura has not lived as a lycanthrope through a full moon.
Yep. So I gotta figure out how she became one.
That's the thing too. You guys don't know how she became a lycanthrope.
That's
Bakura also has not been a lycanthrope through a full moon. You don't know how it's going to affect her.
And
there may be a full moon coming.
Oh shit.
Well, now we know who is going to hate him to Sunday.
Oh, I didn't say it was coming Sunday.
But anyways, there's
It's
also
coming right
another
now,
thing
one
that
shot,
Secret
go.
knows nothing about. She's a warlock. She doesn't know who her patron is.
No, she does
Oh,
not.
that's right.
That's right. We don't know that. We never figured that out.
Yeah,
She
she
doesn't
doesn't
even
know who her.
There is one person that does know.
You.
Well, no, I'm saying in game there's one person that does know. So you'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun little adventure. Finding that shit out.
Ben messaged me and said, "What if Belvis got bit?" And I said, "No, it would make him." I said it would make him a lionfish. He said, "No, a dogfish."
My character, why did you say a lionfish? She's a werewolf.
Because lionfish are more deadly than dogfish are.
Oh, fair, but
they are extremely poisonous.
Yeah.
But Elliot.
Yeah.
What is a moment that sticks in your mind?
Mine really was stealing the ship. Honestly, I think that was our. I mean, like we gotten really close from SWTOR, but I think that was our big moment of being like, yeah, you know, I could see it doing this with everybody for a long time.
We did some pretty sketchy stuff in SWTOR too.
Yeah.
I am sweet and innocent.
Sure you are, Chris. Sure.
So obviously, I kind of threw the streaming thing on to everybody. It was everybody knows my love for Critical Role and all of that, and we were playing, and then I had this notion of, hey, if they can do it, why can't we? And just one day I approached everybody and I said, hey, why don't we live stream this? And I think the only one that was really hesitant was Pam. I know Jeannie was a little hesitant at first. Pam was really hesitant about talking in front of people and all of that because you guys are pretty introverted. But I was able to convince everybody. But when was the moment from then up until now, even if it was recent, when was the moment of, and even if you haven't had that moment, you can tell me, when was the moment of, I would like to do this, be a content creator, be a D&D live streamer for as long as we can? When did that moment come? Ben?
I know when you got a sponsorship.
Yeah, when I hit Dungeon Crate.
Well, even before then, even the first people we got. So, excuse me. When you came to me like, and you just like, okay, you're this, and I was like, okay, Caleb, okay. Like, honestly, God, I was humoring you, and I was just like, dude, I appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm CEO. I said, Ben, you're COO. Pam, you're CFO. Ethan, you're creative director. All of that.
Yeah, I was just kind of like, okay, Caleb. Like, I wasn't going to rain on your parade. I'm just not that type of person. And I was like, all right, well, let's see what this goes. And then you started getting viewership. And then the giveaway, everything. I was just like, oh shit, I need to take this seriously. And I did. I like to think I got involved. I started coming up with ideas. I started like, okay, I got to get out of you got to kind of keep in this kind of thing. You got to kind of keep two firm foot in the realm of creativity and business, because you have to obviously keep the art and everything going and flowing and authentic. But at the same time, if you're really serious about making money, you have to be. I don't want to say dispassionate is the best word I can think about it, is because you have to look at
this is
an analytical. It is an analytical. That's why I've come to grips with the fact that, you know, characters will die and everything, but I hate it because my business mind is saying, okay, we just lost a whole line of Yeah, we just lost a whole line of stuff. And I was
who was it? It was when Willow died that you got pissed off.
I was pissed because I was like.
He goes, well, there goes fucking Willow stuff. I said, no, we're gonna sell fucking Willow stuff still.
No,
Yeah,
I was like, who's gonna buy Willow stuff? We had nobody because to me at that point I didn't have the numbers that we posted. I was like, nobody. No offense, Elliot. I love Willow. I think Willow's a great character, but to me, it's like nobody knows Willow. Nobody cares. It'd be like me trying to sell Salik t-shirts.
Well, nobody
cares. Nobody knows it.
Give Salik t-shirts away.
I wouldn't buy them. But what I'm saying is, it's the same thing. It was the same, like, who cares? The character's dead. Nobody. It's not a. And again, I didn't know how popular we were going at. So to me, it's like Willow's not that popular of a character. It's too new. No, I could slap Willow's image on every piece of merchandise. No one's gonna buy it. So I was just like, this is son of a. But eventually once I calmed down, I was like, you know what? Then I need to double down on this D&D thing so that this shit doesn't happen again, because I ain't gonna lose another character if I can help it. Elwyn doesn't count.
Okay, so Chris, when was your, if you've had it, when was your I want to do this moment?
I have, but I haven't. It's kind of strange, and you can help clarify this probably. I have because honestly, it was interesting. I would like to continue doing it. Honestly, I try to find sponsors when I can for you guys, and you guys get those. Because that's when I started, oh, hey, this is a business. What can I do to offer? But I haven't also because I really haven't felt I can offer anything character or merch-wise. Because I still don't feel I'm that great at RPing as SOBEC.
So, and this is the thing is, you do have the businesses like Critical Role, Dimension 20. All of those people are professional actors. Even Dimension 20. They all started on College Humor. They're still on College Humor. They're all professional actors, is what they do. Where we're just a group of people that decided to start live streaming stuff. It's going to take some work.
we need practice.
We've talked about this before, and I try not to toot my own horn. My advantage is I spent most of my young life up until I turned 18 in theater and doing musicals and all of that. So this is second nature to me, being an actor, which is why I'm pursuing voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all second nature to me, where people that aren't used to it, it's kind of a new thing. But don't ever think that any of you aren't contributing anything, but because just by showing up every Sunday or on Wednesdays, you're contributing to the business, you're contributing to the stream, you're contributing what you need just by showing up. And eventually we're going to get to the point where we can do this full time, where we're streaming for 4 days a week, and we have merch out there that's selling. We have people approaching us to make toys of us, and getting shows and books put out and things like that. So, and it's going to take time, but yeah, I mean, you guys contribute every week by just showing up. We have board members, myself, Ben, my dad, and Pam, and Ethan, but we just handle the business side of everything. We make sure the sponsorships are taken care of. We make sure that the bills are paid and things like that. But it's you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to even do this. I think it'd be pretty boring with just 4 people plus myself as a DM, just doing this. But yeah, so Elliot.
I feel like I was nervous at the beginning, but I was in it from the beginning. I would love to be able to do this full time. I watched a lot of Dimension 20. I need to watch more Critical Role, but I have a lot of role play experience before getting into D&D. I've never had to do like live action or voice act role play, but I like being able to create a world with people, like create in-depth stories that people can relate to, that make people feel a little bit less alone. Because I know that, some of the times that I've watched D&D is when I'm fighting back tears because something terrible happened and I just want to focus on something else, and I want to be able to be that for other people. So I really hope that we can get to the point where we can do this full time, because I love to be able to be that.
Jeannie.
I'll be honest, I still am extremely nervous about doing this. Like,
So is
I've
Pam.
thought about, I've thought about like how I would want to voice Bakira, but it always comes out as pretty much my own voice. Because I've literally thought about what kind of voice would Bakira have. I've even thought about my next campaign character's voice, and it's just like I have no problem practicing voices when I'm not live. But as soon as I get live, I have that everything just like
Freezes.
oh shit moments of
Yeah, and
there are people watching, and I don't want to come off as inauthentic. And yeah, I'm still working through that. So
but so here's
yeah,
the thing.
I'm
Here's a little tip and trick for the voice acting community. This was told to me by somebody that is helping me with some of my voice acting stuff, and I've seen it a few other places. But the key, especially in the beginning, is a lot of people, when they are trying to get a part or do something, they try and throw all these crazy voices. They try and throw a British accent. They try and go high pitch, low pitch. Until you become established, be yourself. Go and audition for voices that sound like yours. Get those parts, and then when you make a name for yourself, then you can venture out. Now, in this aspect, Bakira, your voice is what's comfortable to you. So whatever is comfortable to you is going to make you comfortable while you're playing. That's what the voice should be. Not everybody has to have a voice. I do different voices, mostly to keep it fun, but also to distinguish between the NPCs. As the Dungeon Master, I play 500 characters. I need to be able to distinguish them, so they have to have different voices. Where you guys, all of your voices are different from each other. You could speak in your regular voices, and you'd be able to tell who is talking. So.
That's what I do for Safi.
But one of the things that I've said to all of you is, especially going into campaign 2, is if you want help working on voices, I can teach you where to place it. I can do all that, and eventually you do it. If you do it so much off screen, it becomes a muscle memory to where you don't even think about it when you're on screen, and that's how you'll talk. I mean, I've been randomly talking before and just gone into a character's voice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just happened. I've gone into Maresh multiple times before without even thinking about it.
Especially during Phasmophobia.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so, Ethan.
The moment you said that, I could play in your campaign. So, to our viewers, I was the last person to join their group in SWTOR. And I'd always wanted to start up a campaign, and I have done that very unsuccessfully numerous times, where schedules ended up not working out and stuff like that. And so one night, I remember messaging, hey guys, like, what's the plans for this weekend? Like, what's going on? And they're like, well, Saturday we're free, but Sunday night we're all going to be busy. And it was like everybody, like all the core people. And I was like, so nothing on Sundays. Well, then one time I haphazardly asked, I forget who it was. They're like, I think it might have been Caleb. And Caleb's like, oh yeah, we play D&D on Sundays. Like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I messaged him that night and was like, hey dude, like, I'm just throwing this out there as like if you ever need an extra person, let me know, and I'm there. Like, I'll play with you guys. It could be for just a one-time thing, and I can play, just one-shot characters. That's fine, but just let me know, and I'm willing to jump in. I get a response back, oh good, I just TPK'd everybody, so it would be a perfect time for you to jump in.
And I kept it a secret from the rest of the cast. Nobody knew he was joining us.
Yeah.
It was actually about, it would have been a week from like a year ago. It would have been a year ago, about another week or two. It would have been about a year since I asked Caleb, because I remember it being a couple of weeks before Caleb's like, hey, tonight get on, like, get ready to get on, and I'll have you come in. I was like, okay, cool. Super excited. But yeah, I remember like the weeks leading up to it, it was really hard for me to like not be like, hey guys, see you Sunday, or like, hey guys, like so it was like everything it took to just be like, hey guys, have fun on Sunday. Like, I was so nervous, but
and then we adopted you.
Yeah, yep. I was adopted. I was adopted into this awesome family, this awesome group. I still think the most hilarious moment was when we all got horses, and Bakira just looked at me and said,
"Cow riding a horse." And I gave Argaz a pony, basically.
You kind of had to. Considering Argos is like, you either had to get Argos like a huge, scary looking horse, you had to give him this tiny looking pony.
Oh, what do I do with this? I don't know. Sorry, Ethan.
But
Bakira said to get up on the horse. I have no idea what she.
So I think for me, like, obviously this has been my dream from the beginning to be able to do this, but I think what really kind of cemented it for me there's been twice. The first time was when we got the sponsorship from Dungeon Crate. Dungeon Crate is a pretty big business in the D&D world. And the fact that they were our first permanent sponsor, they decided to sponsor us for a whole thing, and I just expected them to send me one box and that was it. And they were like, oh no, we'll send everybody a test box and then we'll give you a box for a year.
Yeah.
And which we're getting ready to reach out to them to see if they want to continue that, because our year's coming up. So we're going to see if they want to continue that. But so that was kind of, I remember messaging Ben and going, hey, I got Dungeon Crate. And he goes, first of all, he said, what is Dungeon Crate? And then I kind of showed him the site and everything. And he goes, no way. And then I remember now of course, we've denounced this sponsor. But one of the other moments with sponsorships where I knew we were kind of getting there was when we did get Wormwood.
I remember when that happened.
Wormwood was a big deal because Wormwood is huge in the gaming community. Of course, we did denounce them. If you didn't see, they had a lot of issues with some comments that they have made. So Dungeons & Magi decided to, along with quite a few other big D&D streamers, decided to denounce Wormwood and no longer use their products, which you will not see us using any of their products. I don't even know where the box is anymore, but
yeah, I was what was I doing? I was like either eating something or drinking, and I got a message, and I think it was like, we got Wormwood, and I was like, I was like, and Pam's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just was like the phone, and she's like, Oh wow!
And Ben literally messaged me and said, I don't know what kind of pagan voodoo you used to get this, but keep doing it.
Yeah,
and then after that, it was just I was
How?
reaching out, and we got Bell's Country Coffee, Big Nerd Coffee. We just got sponsor after sponsor after sponsor, and it
I was
just
like,
kind of blew.
going new
And
year,
then-
renew it. I don't know what you got to do.
And
Sacrifice a goat. Do whatever you got to do. Just go do
That's
it.
our next thing this year. Is we're looking at some bigger sponsors.
I want more jungle juice.
But
You're sacrificing a goat every Wednesday.
yes, I actually just did that before this. I made a sacrifice, but the other moment, which was pretty recent, that it kind of, me personally, and I know Ben has felt the same way, Pam has felt the same way. We as a company have kind of hit a plateau where our viewership has stayed the same, all of this, and we felt like we weren't gaining traction. We were just spinning our wheels. And of course, we love the followers that we have now, but of course, as a company, our goal is to grow and to become big and successful and all of that. And we felt like we were spinning our wheels, and we sat down and we discussed that we need to put out some more content and this and that, different types of stuff. And then I was at work and I get an email, and I wasn't really paying attention. I look at my phone, I see it's from Twitch, and I kind of looked up, and then I took a second look at it, and it said Twitch has sent your payment of X amount of dollars. And I was like, wait, what? And I looked at it again, and one of my employees, he plays D&D, and he actually watches us every once in a while. I was like, dude, I just got paid from Twitch. Like, it was a big deal. And then I screenshotted it. I know I freaked everybody out, because I messaged in our Discord, I said, guys, I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah, you really. By the way, I've been meaning to tell you. This is from Pam. Cut that shit out. You're scaring us.
Everybody was like, "What happened?" And then I sent the screenshot, and I was like, "Guys, we got paid."
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of money, of course. It wasn't a ton of money, but it
was money.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
money.
they paid
and
for the expenses, so I was.
It
happy.
literally
And Pam-
paid for our expenses to be able to run our stream, and that's thanks to you guys who are subbing to us and all of that. So we thank you for that, but it kind of solidified, like, oh, hey, we're doing something here. We finally earned our first dollars doing this, because our sponsorships have never been monetary sponsorships. They've always been gifts.
Products. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think another thing that happened to Caleb, and it actually just recently happened to me. We met people who have been watching our streams in the real world.
Yeah, I was at work, and I was actually I fix and sell watches for a living. I run a watch shop, and I was selling a watch to somebody, and it usually comes up every once in a while. You can tell people that play D&D or that are nerds. You can always tell. And so I just started talking about this person about it, and they were like, "You look familiar." And I said, "Well, I live stream D&D." And they were like, "What's your name?" I said, "Dungeons and Magi." I showed them. They were like, "Oh yeah, I've watched you guys." I've never met this person before in my life. And they were like, "Yeah, I watch you guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to buy some dice, this and that." Ben just had it recently too.
So, some of you, everyone here knows, but some of you out there, fan-wise, may not know, I am in the Army National Guard, the New York Army National Guard. And Buffalo we just got pummeled with the wrath of God with the snowstorm. And myself and a bunch of about 600 of us in the Army and the Air National
Sobek sent the snow.
You did it.
The snow god.
It's like it was Agatha all along, but it's Sobek.
So we got activated, and we all when I got to the armory where we were all staying, they just kind of shoved me into like a little storeroom in the motor pool. Yeah, no, it was when they say like, "Oh, we're at the barracks at the dorm." The barracks really is, hey, just find some place that you can stretch a cot out and just sleep. So I was literally in the storeroom and right parked next to all the vehicles. But we were housed with some of the guys from Delta Company in my unit, which is based out of the armory, and one of the guys there was a D&D player, private. I'm not going to name names. I don't know if he wants to put it on here, but
hello, if you're watching.
Yeah, if you're watching, because he's like, oh yeah, I'm telling, we're talking D&D, and I was like, I said I talking about Dungeons and Magi. He's like, oh, I'm going to follow you. He's like, wait, you're them. I was like, wait, you know us? I was like, I've watched you. I'm like, really? I was like, he made like, yep, I'm following you. And actually, one of the other female soldiers, who's like his like best friend, his battle buddy, she was like, I'm not sure about D&D, and just me and him going back and forth, bouncing ideas and stuff of how we do things, because our campaigns, you'd like this guy, Caleb, because he's kind of like you in the sense of like he doesn't write stuff down. He just like, all right, what chaos and shenanigans are we doing today? And it's just kind of like that. And the female soldier, she was like, I think I'm going to join him in his D&D session now. So we actually got somebody to try D&D.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
my whole goal with this stream, of course, it's great. I love when we reach people in our respective states that have watched us. I'm hoping that the rest of you get to experience that at some point, because it's a really cool feeling.
I hate.
Someone has to get out of the house first.
I and eventually, if we get to the area our goal where we're gonna hit, that we're gonna be known everywhere for D&D. But
It's gonna have to get out of
the house. Yeah. But my whole goal here is watching Dimension 20 and Critical Role. They're great for the entertainment factor, and of course, I want to be entertaining because people aren't gonna sit here and watch us if we're not entertaining. But I also want to be the stream where new players can come and learn. Almost everybody here, aside from a few people, this is their first campaign. It's the first time really playing D&D full out. Ben, Pam, Elliot's
No,
played
I played
before.
it once, but not long term.
Yeah. Then Jeannie. My dad hasn't played since the 80s. Chris. I think Ethan's the only other one that's played long term. Off and on. But this is basically everybody's beginning. So throughout this entire campaign, it's me teaching everybody. And so I've kind of put that into, now that everybody still, of course, has questions. They still have some learning to do. There's still stuff I don't know. There's stuff Ethan doesn't know. Like, you can play D&D for 20 years and be a dungeon master for 20 years and you still don't know everything. There's so much there. It's always evolving, but now
I think that's
good.
But just to touch on that, I think that's why D&D is one of the best games ever to play, because ultimately, like, it's up to interpretation, like, and like the fact that like everybody can contribute. It's not like like one person isn't like the super, like, can be super great at this game. Like, it's a team game, and it's a really fun game to play, I think.
Yeah, and so my whole goal as I'm teaching everybody here is to also teach people at home, especially because in a homebrew world, homebrew rules are different. I'm a strong believer, and I'll die on the hill of rule of cool is better than rules as written. I'll die on that hill. Raw is great in some aspects, but I much prefer the rule of cool, especially when it comes to streaming, because if we stick with raw, it gets boring. I'll take rule of cool any day. But you'll see me in a lot of our streams, I'll kind of explain why I'm doing stuff this way, why this is happening this way, and that's so new people can come watch our stream. Yes, Critical Role's great, but they don't explain why everything's being done a certain way. Where I will slow down and I'll explain it and all of that. Unfortunately, I may not always be able to do that. As we get a little more popular, I won't always be able to do that. But for the time being, I can do that now. I'll probably, when we do hit that point that I'm not able to do it anymore, I will release subsequent videos on different aspects of D&D, and so people can learn how I play as a dungeon master and stuff like that. I'm also starting to release some stuff like that on our TikTok. If you guys follow us on TikTok, Dungeons_and_Magi, there's going to be a lot more videos going out there. But yeah, we're so thrilled to be able to do this. We're gonna get into a little of an emotional aspect here. We haven't touched on our emotions in 2 weeks, so
Yeah.
Let's not touch on mine.
We are, this past year for all of us has been rough. We've had deaths in the families. We've had heartbreaks. We've had emotional roller coasters. It's been an emotional roller coaster of the past year. But our one, I guess, true, I'm going to say North Star, our guiding light, has been D&D, has been Dungeons and Magi, and has been you guys. We absolutely love, and I believe I speak for everybody when I say this, that we absolutely love being able to come on here on Sundays, pick up the dice, and get to play and entertain you and tell you a story. And it's our escape from whatever we're going through. And we, from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of all of our hearts, we want to thank you guys for being fans, for joining us every week, for spreading our love and positivity that we want to spread everywhere. We would not be able to do this without you guys. So thank you for an amazing 2022. We cannot wait to see what 2023 is going to bring, both for the story, for Misery's End, for Dungeons and Magi, for us personally, and what is going to come of the business and of the stream and as we progress. And we can't wait to see where all of this takes us. And again, we thank everybody. We love you guys. And if, I will say, I mean, we could have viewers from all over. If you guys see us out and about, say hi.
Yeah.
We're not going to bite. Say hi.
I might.
I may.
Say hi. And
I'm a feral goblin, so if you see me in the wild, it is a rare sight. So, hi.
So if you do see us, say hi.
We'll change that.
And we'll sit there and talk with you. And maybe if we see you and we hit it off, maybe we invite you to a session. So also check out, we're going to be having some stuff come to Patreon. We have made a long list. We're not going to get into it now. It will be subsequently released at a later date. But we have made a long list of one-shots that are going to be recorded.
45!
45 one-shots of various themes. And basically the way it's going to work is we're going to, for 90% of them, we're going to live stream the first session of it. We are going to, of course, leave you on a cliffhanger because we have to. That's how D&D works. And then you'll be able to see the rest of it by joining our Patreon. And there, not only do you get these exclusive one-shots, but you also get merch, and you get some pretty cool stuff. If you sub to the highest tier, you get special merch. The lowest tier, you, at the very least, you get a sticker, and you'll get access to the one-shots. But yeah, you'll get some exclusive stuff. You also get to join our fan Discord as well if you join Patreon, where you get to sit there and talk with us. And every once in a while, we may jump in there and play a game with some of you guys. We all play Among Us. So maybe you join our Patreon, join our private Discord, and we'll jump in there. We'll play some games with you guys. But yeah, so stay tuned. The announcements for those one-shots will be coming. We definitely plan on doing quite a few this year, and broadening the content that we're bringing you guys.
Add title cards form if you send them my way.
So, with that, again, we want to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Please join us on Sunday. We are back on Sunday. I will not be in this domain. I will be in a different domain. I will be taking over Ben and Pam's place as the Dungeon Master. And we will be right back into the campaign. I don't have any one-shots planned for this month, so all month is going to be the campaign. So, join us next time as we close the books, set aside the dice, and pull back the curtains. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.